सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Welcome everyone to the class, and I'll chant a few verses. Yes, so I will chant from, I'll just do 46 to 48. Yavanartha udapane sarvatah samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanatah कर्मण्येवाधिकारास्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफलहेतुर्भूः मा ते सङ्गोऽस्त्वकर्मणि योगस्थः कुरु कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा धनञ्जय सिद्ध्यसिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा समत्वं योग उच्यते। So I was planning to cancel the class today, but then I thought, no, let's just have the class and we'll try and take question answers first. If there are any questions, we are not going on YouTube live today. There is a certain issue. So I am sorry if anybody's waiting there. There's no way for me to reach. Of course, there'll just be few of you. I'm sure you'll log in over here at Facebook also. Or you can join Blue Jeans. So yes. Are there any questions anyone has? If we can pick up a question. Otherwise, I'll continue with the text.
Yes, Diptiji, I have a question.
Ji.
Last class, you said that, you need to understand and relate or place yourself as to where you stand in this creation.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not able to get an answer to that for myself. So like, I don't know how to relate to that. And like, I mean, I've been created, I've been born, and I'm doing certain duties and I'm doing something in this world. But how do I relate to that position that I have been given in this, as you said, to relate to that? Or maybe I've not understood in what context you gave that, spoke that.
Anybody has any thoughts on that?
We actually joined late. I missed what she was saying.
Can you rephrase it?
Yeah. Hi, Priyanka. My question was, last class Diptiji said that you need to understand and, within yourself and understand where exactly are you based in this creation. Where do you stand? How do you relate? I know I've been born, I've been, doing certain duties. I did my duty of getting studied, educated, this, that, got married, had children, doing the duty of a housewife, everything. But how do I relate to that something different? I'm not able to, either I didn't understand what Diptiji was trying to convey that day, or I'm not able to understand how do I relate myself to that creation. What do I tell myself? What do I talk to myself? How do I, go about it?
I think it's very personal, right? Like each one would have a very different journey, and within myself, like if I had asked this question 10 years ago, I would have answered it differently. I would have related differently. And if I do now, it's totally different. But I can just share, like for me, if this was 10 years ago, I felt very significant and very important that, oh my God, look, I do this and I am so good at this, or I am not good at this. Everything was a big deal, whether it was good or bad, And now, after studying and like studying Vedanta, it has become the opposite, and I feel like this body and Priyanka as such is so insignificant, and it's just like not even a dot in the whole universe. So anything that is related to this mind and body has actually become very insignificant and not not important at all. And then you realize that the purpose of life was actually so much different from what we were running after the whole life. And better late than never. So I don't regret anything I have done in the past. Of course, I could have maybe started on this journey earlier, but of course, it's no point thinking in that direction. But it's good that whatever I did has brought me here, and whatever happened has brought me here. But now at least I know that there is a bigger purpose to life, and it's good to have that as a goal that will never change, and to start working towards that. But
so a kind of an inner peace which has come in.
Definitely.
That's what. Okay, that is what even I feel that. So it's an inner peace and a feeling of gratitude.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to understand if my thoughts and those things are on the right track. That's all.
But I think there's no right track, because it's going to be different for everybody, and wherever you feel right, that is your right track.
No, see, initially I find, you had absolutely no knowledge of the whole subject. Then slowly, once you start going on that path, then naturally you are searching for a little right track. And then slowly it becomes a habit, then it becomes natural. Then that's how I find it would change. Unless you don't know that you are on the right path. Agreed, there's no right or wrong in this also. But at the same time, jaise Shravanam karo, Mananam karo. So those are the paths, right?
Yeah. No, so I meant that if you are feeling right, then it has to be the right path.
Right.
If you are feeling better, you're feeling more, you feel the gratitude, you
Relaxed.
feel relaxed, you feel peaceful, then it has to be the right path. Because there is only one path that will make you feel that way.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much.
So, more specific to the statement that I made in the class to say, identify your place in the creation. More specific to that, is this is a context of seeing how your birth can be as meaningful as is possible in your capacity. If we just keep that as a general idea, then one would want to know, how can I do my best towards that fixed goal? The statement was made, if I recollect correctly, in the context of how will you filter your actions? How do you filter your attitudes? How do you filter your place in the creation? When I say filter means, if we have identified ourselves as a form, as a name, then naturally a limitation has been imposed. This limitation is constantly determining what we are doing, how we are reacting, what we are engaging in, etc. The world is spread. People, interactions, opinions, ideas, their expectations of us, etc. It's all a huge involvement. Unless and until I fix these two, which is, what is that highest, or what is my highest that I can reach, perceive? And within this limitation, how do I direct it there? So, as you said in your question explanation, supposing you just say I was born and okay, I am a housewife, or I am married and I have children and whatever else comes with it. So I've done my duties over there. Now that is a limitation. Already you have placed in your time and your space, which means I have placed that limitation in creation. My place in creation is I am a mother. I am a wife. According to that placement in creation, there will be some people who are that individually to each one. Identifying your placement will help you to determine, how do I direct these actions, this capacity, limitation that I have, how do I direct it towards what that goal is? How closer can I bring myself to that? Because there'll be a process of filtering that will get involved. If it is not falling in my space and time, it may be a distraction, it may be a, what is it the best way to say? Not even a distraction. It may wander me away. No? So if I know my placement correctly, and the Shastras there which is telling me already what is the direction, then it helps me to It's like, you can accelerate your gati because the two things are defined. Your goal is defined, your own individual capacity is defined, and the direction is set by the Shastra, and I have the discernment to know what is not my placement in creation. In the context of Arjuna, we can say, what is his placement in creation?
He's a Kshatriya.
He's a
Fight the war.
Kshatriya. Fight the war. He's a Kshatriya, fight the war. That is his. At that situation, which one will be predominant? Which one have you to follow?
Fight.
So this helps to determine. And since the following verses are coming to Karam Yoga, it helps to determine how does action become Karam Yoga. Karma becomes Karam Yoga. वो योग दृष्टि क्या है? वो योग सिद्धांत क्या है? आप किसको कहोगे कि ये योग है? अब ये मेरा कर्म योग बना. When will I say that now my karma has become a yoga? When will I identify that whatever I have got engaged in my actions, maybe I started with my desires, maybe I started with an ambition, maybe I started with, because whatever the world does, I do. Maybe I started like that. But having become a student of Gita here and Vedanta here, now we have understood the end of that pursuit we are seeing everywhere in the world. The end result of that pursuit is samsar gati. What we are now Shastra is educating us is, that's a very small portion that Shastra tells us. Now what it's educating us is, how will you counter that sansar gati of yours and redirect your own gati towards your shreyas, towards your moksha? And what are the steps for that moksha? Whatever your identification in your present situation of your placement is. You know how we say as children, we had different set of obligations and duties, etc. You grow up a little different, then you are married, you have children, it's a different set. Then your children get married. Now your role changes. Your placement has changed. So an alertness or an identification that every day, actually we may not register it, but it is something that is happening. It's a daily shift.
So initially it's a very conscious effort.
Initially it's a conscious effort. It remains a conscious effort till it becomes a habit.
Right.
Even then I would say it will be a conscious effort because your habit can sustain you up to a point, but the rest of one's desires and rest of one's things can overtake sometime. So your habit will protect you if you've made it a habit, but you can't take it for granted. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So any other question? I just started by saying today I was otherwise going to plan to cancel the class, not feeling too energetic, but then I said, no, let me not cancel the class. Let's just have a class. If there's any question answers, we can take that up first. Otherwise, I'll continue as best as I can continue for as long as I can continue. And it's better than not having a class. So if there's any other question anybody has over here, and therefore also just repeating myself, I'm sorry I'm not going live on YouTube today. Anyway, there is a video issue also. So, is that okay, everyone? No questions? All clear. Okay. So, we will continue then. Here we are. Starting from 46th verse, just as a quick recap. Once a person sets their goal, their purpose, gives a purpose to their life consciously, according to how the Shastras have perceived a human, have validated a human birth. Taking that as a granted, taking that as a praman, a valid means of knowledge. Every human being is eligible for moksha in a lifetime. Every human being is eligible for it. Where all the vivad, all the argument in the world starts from is the definition of moksha, is the understanding of what is moksha. And because of that variation of opinions or variation of understandings with reference to what what makes it approachable, what makes it a pursuit, what makes moksha a pursuit. Variation of thoughts, ideas, different schools, different opinions, different maps, I would say. People would suggest different maps. They all may say it's all taking to moksha. They will all say, after all, it's moksha. But the subtle understanding of what do you mean by moksha, this should be questioned. जो भी कहता है कि ये कर लो और आपको परगति मिल जाएगी, आपको मोक्ष मिल जाएगा, पहला प्रश्न उनसे पूछो, मोक्ष का मतलब क्या है आपका? What do you mean by moksha? If there is a logicality in the explanation, if there is a acceptability of the explanation, it has to meet reason. It has to provide reason as to why that would be moksha. Why what they say is moksha. What is Vedanta saying is moksha? Moksha is a state of your being, having recognized which the limitedness of your own being is dissolved away, it disappears, it's destroyed. The limitedness that one has of one's being, the limited me, I, what is called as ahankar, that sense of identity, sense of ahankar, as long as there is this sense of ahankar, it is preventing you from being mukt. It is an obstacle to being mukt. Moksha in Vedanta is us, I'm repeating the understanding. Moksha in Vedanta is not a product of creation. It is not a product of effort. There's a lot of clarity in this statement. Moksha, the state of one's being, having recognized which this limited identity is dissolved. That state of being is not a product of an effort. In other words, moksha वो स्थिति है which is actually nothing but absolute freedom. Absolute freedom implying that one is freed from a constant emergence, cyclical emergence of the limited feeling. So we have explanations on two sides. One that goes towards moksha and one that goes from the standpoint of ahankar, which takes you towards samsara. Anything done with an identity of ahankar hote. And what is that ahankar? With reference to karma, that ahankar is called karta. With reference to enjoyment, ahankar is called bhokta. This karta, ahankar as karta, whatever one employs life doing, whatever you do, कर्ता भाव से जिंदगी में कुछ भी कर लो, anything, and it's a big statement, anything, you become the head of the highest power on the planet, or you are working at a very basic level, maybe just enough to sustain yourself and doing manual labor. From here to there, you may have the whole world at your command, or you don't even have one person who looks up to you, or is dependent, or just a worker. From here to there, anything you do with a sense of karta. Shastra has given a very sweeping vision, knowledge. करता रखते हुए कुछ भी करो. You cannot be freed of the sense of limitation, of the sense of ahankar, of the sense of you being so and so. Because of this, there will always be sukhicha and dukh se nivritti ki ichha. The ichha will always be there to get happiness, to avoid pain, to avoid sorrow. But the inevitability of sukh and dukh cyclically expressing in your life. You feeling it, expressing as in you will recognize it as your experience. I'm happy now, I'm not happy now. I'm sad today, I'm this today, I'm very, very excited today. This... Sorry. This is going to be inevitable. ये cycle inevitable है. ये cycle भी है और inevitable भी है. Why is it a cycle? Because sukh avastha cannot stay forever. Dukh avastha cannot stay forever. It is an experience of opposites. So one will replace the other. Since one replaces the other, you will constantly feel the waves, the utar and the chadhav, etc. That is a normal as in a usual gati of everyone who's born. As a human, here we are talking context. This is a normal gati of every human. But moksha is what? If Vedanta says you are already a mukta purusha, mukta being, you are already mukta. Aap ho. Moksha is not a product of your effort. आप कुछ कर ही नहीं सकते उसके लिए. There is no effort you can put to become mukt. Because you cannot become mukt. You are mukt. आप हो. अभी भी हो. Your avastha is mukt. That you are mukt. Now, here, at this point, immediate, even here, even when your conclusion of yourself is that no, today I am not happy, today I am sad, today I am depressed, today I am in conflict, etc., etc. Even if you feel that, Even then, Shastra says, you are mukt. You are mukt of what? Of this feeling. Already. But why do you not recognize it? Because you are in the flow of the limitation and its felt reality that you are now experiencing. In that flow, you feel this is real. And the Shastra, if it says that you are already mukt of this feeling, is not becoming a tangible reality, because the force of the flow of the perception of the world real and my experience of what I am feeling now is real is so tangibly real that I am mukt now is probably a memory if it is repeated in the class or if it's repeated somehow, but it's not an identifiable perception for me to say, yes, this is not, I'm not so that I think. That moksha is not a product of effort. If you've understood the thought flow so far, then where is the effort actually to be placed? What is the role of effort? What is the use of effort? We do say, keep putting it.
To give up all these tendencies and to be attached to Maya and things like that. That's where you need to put the effort.
Excellent. Very good. Divya, you were saying something also?
Be free of rag and dvesh. That will.
Right. So, this flow of thought, excellent both of you. This flow that is carrying me away, my effort is to handle that flow. My effort is whatever is creating, that's right, whatever is preventing me from recognition of the already stable avastha. मैं हूं. As we finished in the beginning portion, मैं इसको बढ़ा नहीं सकती, घटा नहीं सकती, मैं इसको destroy नहीं कर सकती, मैं इसको बदल नहीं सकती. I cannot. My effort doesn't reach moksha. That sthiti of mind, that avastha of mind, which is called one's own being, which is called in Sanskrit as Atma. Atma, with reference to myself, मैं हूं. मैं हूं now. Versus मुझे लग रहा है क्या मैं हूं अभी. मुझे जो लग रहा है मैं हूं अभी. That gets examined in the light of what the Shastra tells us. And I make a correction there because मुझे क्या लग रहा है, supposing I've had a bad day, because it's an easier example to take, so I'm taking it. Supposing I've had a bad day and I have had a discord with someone and I have, I am angry and I am, or I am very sad or I'm very depressed, one of these things. If I am feeling that now, isn't that conclusion that I am feeling this so real to that person at that point? That your Atma, आप free हो. वेदांत ने कहा है आप free हो. And Vedanta is a cumulative knowledge. इससे ऊंचा कुछ है ही नहीं, because you have resolved the whole creation into one स्थान. सब कुछ resolve. इसके बाद कहीं है ही नहीं जाने को. There's nowhere else to go. There is nothing else to do. Such a effort will then be defined in terms of how much am I being layered, involved in that flow that I experience. इनके नाम है ये राग, द्वेष, etc. All these are just that. As you go ahead, you will have more definitions. At this point, I am removing the definition so that we are able to see it in life. That's the purpose of all the Shastriya terms, because they help us with clarity, precise clarity. And it is meant to give us that knowledge. What is this flow that I get carried away by? My effort will be needed to unentangle myself from this flow. मेरा जो ये अहंकार है, जो मैंने जोड़ लिया है, if it was with an action, it is karta. If it is now with a sense of I'm sad, I'm happy, etc., it is now a bhokta. This entire experiential realm that I find my identity constant in. I am this, I am that, and it keeps, my experiences are changing. They are so variable. But I am notion is not changing. And that I am notion today to me is this limited I. यही तो मैं हूं. Therefore I am sukhi now, I am dukhi now. The entire effort that is required to free oneself from this flow is the method. Is there a method there? Is there a definite method कि मैं हाथ पैर मार के तुक्के लगाऊं? Should I do a guesswork? That I have understood I have to entangle, but is there a decisive method? Is there a direct method? That direct method is what is given in 47 and 48 verse. How will you unentangle your mind's involvement, which today as a force from the past is keeping it alive and real? How do you unentangle it? Where will you start from? It is easy to say, I should not have ragadvesh. It is easy to say, I will not have ego. It is easy to say, I will not have anger. I will not have fear. I will not have insecurity. I should not have insecurity. I should not have blah, 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 blah. आसान है. Aspiration भी रख सकते हैं. We can keep it as a go. Oh, okay, I will not. Has anybody's resolution ever worked completely to bring them to that point? Oh, I'll never get angry. I've resolved. How long? Day, 2 days, 1 week. If you have got a lot of willpower, you may last some long. Sometime it goes out of your control. If you say, oh, I am not going to be affected by anything, it is subject to variations, variables. This effort is not just in terms of Shama and Dama. Here, Shama, Dama, Titiksha, Uparama, these are all the efforts that are there together. From one context, it is said, have Shama, Dama, Adi, Shatakam, sense control, mind control, these are your efforts. Here he says, with reference to action, that once you know how to direct your action and your capacity to act and where to direct that capacity and how to direct that capacity and how much to direct that capacity, thereafterwards you will find automatically, this is a result of your correct application, that you will find freedom from your entangled mind, from your entanglements in the mind, which is called Chitta Shuddhi. There are many terms in which Shastra gives us our Antakaranam and its states. Fundamental is, Sharir hai aapka, physical body. This physical body is 5 elements. इसमें इंद्रियां manifest हुई हैं as sense organs. Indriya is expressing through the organs, and that expression through the organs is helping you perceive the world. Perceiving the world makes you a perceiver of the experience, sense experience. That perceiver concludes himself, herself as limited to that perception. I am seeing this, I am hearing this, I am eating this, I am this and that. It is limited to that. This perception, this perceiver, which is such a limited notion, is constantly bombarded by the world and its perceptions. Therefore, the limited me never is resting. It never has a pause. Supposing I have a perception, I'm a perceiver of the sound at the moment. I'm perceiver of the sound and the sight and the smell. And then supposing for a little while, the world is there, everything's there, but I'm not perceiving it. In the waking state. ऐसा कभी होता नहीं. The whole waking state disappears for you in the sleep, where the perceiver disappears. But if you are there in the waking, perceiving the world, then this perception keeps the perceiver in a constant notion. मैं हूं, मैं हूं, मैं हूं. So you never get a rest. Jiva never has a rest from his जीवत्वम. उसको आराम नहीं मिलता. और वो जीवत्वम is all the time feeling sukhi, dukhi, etc. Individual is that jivatva. Now the one who puts in the effort needs to know what is going to be the right way so that I am in deep entangling myself. I'm unentangling myself. And that lakshana is also gets sorted. जिसको एक शब्द में चित्त शुद्धि कह दिया. What is चित्त शुद्धि finally? If today's understanding is a little more clearer, one step better, how will you say what is chitta shuddhi here? In the example I took.
जीवत्वम
Okay.
मतलब नहीं फील हुआ या फिर जीवत्वम थोड़ा मतलब for that period of time जीवत्वम is not there.
Okay. You cannot ever say it is not there, but okay, fine. You are a little more in control or you're not overpowered by it. Fine. Anything else?
Feeling free from mental entanglements.
Feeling free from mental entanglements. Correct. This entangled, as I said, it's a flow. It's almost an automatic responsive nature. As we keep growing older, it almost becomes an automatic behavioral pattern. Chitta Shuddhi means I'm becoming free of that. So these entanglements are opening, they are dissolving, they are weakening. They weaken their hold on me. When they weaken their hold on me, obviously what do I have now more? I have more freedom, I have more control, I have more shanti, I have more joy, unconditional joy. So Chitta Shuddhi brings one a lot of relative peace. It brings one the qualification now. Because मन अब शांत रहता है थोड़ा बहुत जो पहले नहीं था, तो automatically as in it becomes natural for the mind to be questioning better, more clearer, has a more vivek shakti that expresses itself. जो सब में होती है. All human beings have it, but somehow we are too entangled in the flow, bahav of the mind and its feelings, thoughts. बहाव के साथ बहते रहते हैं. So you tend to not use it, and then it gets rusted. As we keep growing older, the habits take us over, the habitual pattern thinking takes us over. So our thinking capacity, our Viveka Shakti kind of gets rusted a little and is not easily employable. But with Chitta Shuddhi, now that starts to become available. So he said in 46th verse, one who has got moksha as a goal. Moksha is a state where you are a fulfilled person, ever fulfilled. There is nothing left to seek. आप अपने से जुड़ गए हो, अपने आप क्या हो उसके आइडिया से नहीं जुड़े, आप अपने स्वभाव से जुड़ गए, और वो स्वभाव आत्मा है. आत्मा as in it is ever there. Once this has happened, once this is your gain, or you have identified with it, all the other small gains that your ahankar, karta, I would have brought to you, how significant would they have remained? Will they be significant? They've got dissolved, because when you have a larger gain, the smaller gains become insignificant. They become useless. They become redundant is the right word. They become redundant. If you have a example he gives us, because if you have a well of water, it is useful. A bucket of water is useful if you have no other water. As earth will have lesser and lesser water available, every drop will become valuable. Why is it not valuable today? Because there is a lot of water we think we have. Because there is a whole lot of, it comes through our taps uninterrupted, therefore we think water is a easy availability, so the value of that water, that drop of water is not felt. It's a counter example, वैसे. The idea is only to say, when there is the larger available, the smaller is included. So this is a beautiful way of conveying, building the thought in the next two verses. क्यों अपना गोल आपको मोक्ष रखना चाहिए? क्यों आपको अपने जीवन को एक हायर का कॉन्सेप्ट में रख के हायर की तरफ डायरेक्ट करना चाहिए? क्यों करना चाहिए? When the whole world is busy acquiring another thing, blah blah blah, why should I not be doing that, and why should I direct my energies and efforts into something that actually nobody says has seen, or किसने देखी है आत्मा? You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't touch it, you can't know it, you अप्रमेय, etc. वो उस आत्मा की, what am I bargaining for? Shastra's extremely responsible to help convey why it becomes necessary to understand you should follow that. Moksha should be your value to pursue, because what is your gain? All these small gains of the world are added in it. Therefore, for one who now has fixed a goal of moksha, or alike, I say moksha is the final, alike means towards it. Fixing something in the direction of moksha, which is what? Qualifying for moksha. How will I qualify for it? That entangling, de-entangling, unentangling effort is what he says. Start with understanding what is in your adhikaratvam, in your right, and what you do not have a right for. And in that context, now I remember much more clearly, Neetuji, in that context I had said you have to identify your time and space where you are placed in creation.
Diptiji, you explained beautifully. I've really understood it very well. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Excellent. So here, this idea that how will I convert, where will I start? That I'm not just tukka bajoing, ये कर लेती हूँ हो जाएगा, वो कर लेती हूँ हो जाएगा. It's one lifetime we have, which is a certain, which we do not even know how long it is going to last. We don't know how many years we are gifted with. This one lifetime, should I be tukka bajoing? I hope I'm using the right word. Should I be experimenting? Should I be experimenting
Or just shooting arrows in air?
Just shooting arrows, maybe something will hit. Is my life really worth only trying and tukka bajoing to say that maybe? No, Shastra says it's such a precious life. It's so precious. Human birth is extremely precious. If you don't understand the worth of your trial and effort, that's right, trial and error. Trial and error is the right thing I was looking for. Give it a trial and error. This human birth is not to be frittered away. If you think it's population is huge and don't take your human birth for granted. It is not necessary. Let me not go there. Human birth is precious. Therefore, don't do trial and error. Don't do tukkebaji here. Try and follow a set pattern that has been tried and tested, that has worked for generations and generations, and everyone who pursues it, and it is an eternal knowledge. It will not change in time. That formula will not change in time. And to convey that, my only example I know is gravity will not change as long as Earth is there in its proportion that it is here. Therefore, he says, to this awakened Jiva, who is now ready to direct the life, to direct the effort, he wants to know, सीधा सीधा बताओ, घुमा फिरा के नहीं बताना. Don't waste time. My capacity to act is here. I am a karta. I am a jiva. All this understood. How do I start the gati? Where do I start the unentanglement from? What do I do? He said, first, identify your limit. Karma mein hi sirf tumhara adhikar hai. Set it in your mind. इसको ऐसा set करो. Hold it so strong in your understanding. Set हो जाना चाहिए कि मेरा faculty, what I am equipped with in my human body, I am equipped with only a capacity to act, and my limitation is set here. I cannot do anything more than that. With reference to my organs of action, it is set that action is my right. I have a choice within what do I do. Kartum, akartum, anyatha va kartum. This is my choice within my capacity to act. But my capacity to act is my limitation. I cannot transcend that. I cannot find myself transcending it ever. With no effort has anybody been able to find. There'll be no school of thought which will tell you can transcend this and extend your capacity to create with reference to what you desire. What do you desire? I desire a fruit. I desire a phal. I desire a state. I desire something in the future because I seem to be not full today. I seem to be wanting today. I seem to be not adequate enough today. I seem to be not in full acceptance of who I am today. I seem to be incomplete today. I seem to be devoid. I feel a sense of devoid. I feel a sense of being cheated. I feel a sense of being not worthy. So many such things multiply. All of that. All jivas feel one or the other at one time or the other. All individuals, we have now generalized it, standardized it rather. As an individual, this is my feeling. Understand that because this is a feeling, I keep approaching the world, I keep approaching people, I keep approaching things because I want my happiness. मुझे कुछ चाहिए. Happiness भी मुझे तो समझ नहीं है actually. Before Vedanta tells us, none of us has qualified it to understand clearly. What is it that I'm seeking? मुझे चाहिए क्या? As a jiva, why is it that none of us has found happiness in the world? Why is it that our chase hasn't ended? These questions have never bothered us. Everybody moves, therefore we move. Everybody does this, so we do this. There seems to be no alternative pattern of life that we can live. All alternative patterns of life that can be offered as a human life seems to have their own limitations in itself because their meaning of moksha is different. So they move their pattern of life accordingly. If your identity of moksha is some heaven, you will have a pattern of life accordingly. If your identity of understanding of moksha is going to heaven, you will live a life accordingly. If your understanding is of moksha is Vaikunt, you will live a life accordingly. No other God, no other God, no other God, not even Rama. Vaikunt means that. Kailash means that. No other God, etc., etc. What is your limitation? What is your adhikaratvam? What adhikaratvam as in where is your right? What is your independence in? कर्म करने में इंडिपेंडेंस है आपको. सब इच्छा चल सकती है आपकी कर्म करने में. मैं कौन सा कर्म करूं, मैं कितना करूं, मैं कब करूं, मैं किसके लिए करूं. All your questions start asking around कर्म. इसमें अधिकार है मेरा. मैं क्यों करूं, मैं कब करूं, मैं कितना करूं, मैं करूं कि नहीं करूं, मैं किसके लिए करूं. Write these questions. All these will help in understanding what is Karam Yoga better. मैं किसके लिए कर्म करूं, मैं क्यों करूं, मैं करूं कि नहीं करूं, कितना करूं, कब करूं, ना करूं तो, बिल्कुल ही ना करूं तो चॉइस है, नहीं करती. रेस्ट ऑफ माई लाइफ आई विल नॉट वर्क एट ऑल. क्या इसको मैं साधना बना लूं? Should I make it a process that will get me to something, freedom from this karna? That understand, इसमें आपको independence है. You have full freedom. Nobody can take this freedom away from you with reference to karma. But you have no freedom. No freedom. You have no jurisdiction. You can't reach there. You have no equipment. With reference to कर्म का जो एक फल है, जो नियम से है, you have no independence to alter the फल. You have independence, to alter the karam. But you have no independence to alter the fal. I think this is the clearest I have ever been able to say it. You have complete independence to alter your karma. your capacity that you have to do, you have complete independence in that. Experiment करो, जितना करना है करो. But with reference to कर्म का जो फल है, you have no independence to alter the phal. So what will automatically be an attitude with reference to phal?
Total detachment.
Total detachment. Before that?
Not wanting it.
Don't expect it.
Nothing.
Don't expect it. Acceptance of what comes. Your first step will be you will accept it. क्योंकि फल पे आपका अधिकार है ही नहीं. तो जो आ रहा है, आप क्या कर सकते हो उसको?
You accept it to the way it is, to accept it.
Exact. First here, in this context, you only accept it. You just accept, that's it, finished. There is not, because है ही नहीं आपका. What is the point of cribbing and crying and complaining? I wanted this, I wanted that, I wish it was this, I wish. वो नहीं हो रहा, हो ही नहीं सकता है. Why? अधिकारी नहीं है आपको altering the फल. तो अगर अधिकारी नहीं है, so what is the point of thinking about it? What is the point of expecting something? What is the point of hanging on to a fruit? What is the point of wishing a fruit? When actually speaking, there is no adhikar over altering it. फल तो आपको आपके कर्म के बेसिस पे मिल रहा है. This is the second नियम. फल पे आपका अधिकार नहीं है और फल आपको आपके कर्म के बेसिस पे मिल रहा है और कर्म पे आपको पूरा अधिकार है. I think that is it. Finished.
You've hammered it so beautifully, Deepti ji.
This
And
is
also you've shown the path. That is what has become so clear.
as Anugrah, everyone sought absolutely Ishwar Anugrah.
That is what I found. Today's class has given
Couldn't
me
have
that.
completely Ishwar Anugrah today. That is why I see. Anyway, here कर्म के फल पे अधिकार नहीं है. Therefore, acceptance is your only choice left. अगर आपको फल कुछ और चाहिए, तो you don't have to keep wishing and praying to Bhagwan or to wish and wait in time. Change your कर्म. कर्म पे पूरा अधिकार है. But now starts the nuance. If I have to change my karam, again I can't do tukkebaji. What change should I bring in my karma? That change is called Karam Yoga. What is that? He step by step brought them. First step, by default, हम फल को देख के कर्म करते हैं. हमारा कर्म निकलता ही तब है जब हमें कोई फल दिखता है, प्रयोजन दिखता है. There is a saying, प्रयोजनम अनुदिश्य न मंदोपि प्रवर्तते. मंदोपि न प्रवर्तते. प्रयोजनम अनुदिश्य. अनुदिश्य में जब दिखता नहीं है, जब कोई प्रयोजन नहीं दिखता मेरे एफर्ट का, मंदह अपि, जो बहुत बुद्धू है, बिल्कुल मंद है, जो सोच नहीं सकता है, वो भी कोई एफर्ट नहीं डालेगा. जब उसको कुछ फायदा नहीं दिखता है तो वो मंदह अपि न प्रवर्तते. He will not pursue it. If you don't see a fruit, you will not pursue anything. कर्म ही नहीं होता है हमसे. Here comes what your first step is. Because our minds have got mixed up, not knowing where is our adhikar and where is not our adhikar, Therefore, he says, karma phala hetu bhuhu. Bhuhu ma. Do not make karma phal your reason for your karma. This is where that detachment comes. Detach from that जो पकड़ के रखा है कर्म फल को अभी कर्म के बेसिस के लिए, detach from the फल, give it up and do your right, do your karma, do your adhikar, what your adhikar you have. Then but natural, there is a possibility, if that fruit, carrot is gone, the whole corporate world today, sad, it's very, the time I perceived the shift in our culture here in India was the time I said it's a sad time. We are losing a whole generation of peaceful people. We are going to probably lose them because carrots have become important in corporate sectors. Reward system has become an essential part of your karma. Tips for your karma, what is supposed to be your duty. Tips makes you do better, supposedly. You have destroyed the entire potential, the capacity that this person could have had for his growth if his mind becomes used to working for tips. Do you see a difference? If your mind is going to get used to working for rewards, it will be difficult for you to train yourself to work for what you have chosen to work. You are working for some work you have picked up, some employment you have picked up. It is giving you something. If you want more than that, you work hard. That's a Laukik approach. But what does Shastra here tell you? It says, if you are going to make that as your reward system, as your base of karma, then certainly you are going to be samsari. But if you remove the carrot, you remove the reward system. Why was the reward system brought in the first place? Because people were getting used to
Not doing anything.
not doing anything. Ma te sangaha tu akarmani. Akarm ke saath jud mat jana fir. It is a thin balance. If you are not rewarded, you will find yourself not enthusiastic to work. Work is becoming boredom. Work becomes drudgery. Work becomes monotonous. Work becomes laborious. Work is not enjoyable. There's this, why should I look for a weekday starting? Because I have to go to work. So that kind of a thing. Weekends I love looking forward to because nothing to do. I can rest. Karmani, this is a background being set. From 46th onwards, he said it. Karmani eva adhikaraha. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Kadachana means never, ever, ever, never. कभी नहीं. फल में तुम्हारा अधिकार कभी नहीं होने वाला. नियम है ये. सिर्फ कर्म में रहेगा. Ma karma phala hetu bhu. Therefore, when you make the fruit a reason for your action, do not do that. Because fruit is not your adhikar. कर्म is your अधिकार. तो हेतु मत बनाओ कर्म फल को अपने कर्म का. और अगर वो नहीं बनाओगे तो chances are that तुम जुड़ जाओगे अकर्म से, inaction से. You will lose the enthusiasm to act. You won't know how to identify even with your organs of action. Purposeless, prayojanless nobody acts. सिद्धांत है ये. तो प्रयोजन तो चाहिए. You will need some प्रयोजन to act. प्रयोजन, अगर फल रखते हो, शास्त्र कह रहा है फल मत रखो, तो प्रयोजन तो रखना पड़ेगा, because without प्रयोजन even mandaha doesn't act. So what should be the prayojan? 48th verse. योगस्थः कुरु कर्माणि. योगस्थ होके, योग में स्थित होके कर्म करो. This will become the prayojan. Sangam tyaktva, abandoning, giving up. This sangam, attachment to your fruits. इच्छा से जुड़ के कर्म करने को छोड़ दो. ये आदत छोड़ दो. गिव इट अप. फल दिख रहा है इसलिए कर्म करूं, मुझे क्या मिल रहा है इसलिए करूं, मुझे कितना मिलेगा इसलिए करूं. इस आदत को छोड़ दो. फिर प्रयोजन क्या है? योग को अपना प्रयोजन बनाओ. योग में स्थित होने को अपना प्रयोजन बनाओ. और योग में स्थित होना किसे कहते हैं? सिद्धि असिद्धि समः भूत्वा. Whether my actions gave me accomplishment or not, what they are bringing to me, how much they are bringing to me, whether it is siddhi means I have completed it and I have got exactly as I wanted, asiddhi, I couldn't get what I wanted. Samaha bhutva. Bhutva means rehkar, bankar. Some, same. Have an equal vision towards siddhi, asiddhi. That equal vision as in your mind, don't let your mind get carried away, flowed towards the accomplished or the unaccomplished result that you felt, success or failure that came with your actions. Do not let your mind flow in that direction. Manage the mind, manage the flow. Why? That samatvam itself is called yoga. Yoga is not here called as Ashtanga Yoga, is yoga. What is yoga? Samatvam is yoga. That samatvam is your prayojanam. Make that as your reason for action. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam itself is called yoga. (47 and 48 verse) are therefore the Karam Yoga in a nutshell. Sutra hai. Sutras are all cryptic, few words, and convey a whole volume of knowledge. In few words, you can write books and books on that. So much knowledge is contained in a few words. 47 and 48 verse is Karam Yoga ke Sutra. 48th in particular. Was there a previous verse that he mentioned something similar? Anybody remembers?
निश्चयात्मिका बुद्धि.
Nishchayatmika buddhi. Okay. What verse is that?
I think 40.
Okay. Anything else? Something. He's already started the thought from there.
Vyavasayatmika buddhi?
No. Correct. Yes, Vani, right. But let's see if somebody else is getting it. I'll give you a hint. See the screen. Sukha dukhe same kritva. Labh alabh jaya ajaya. Tataha yuddhaya. Correct. Yujyasva. Fight. Keeping sukha dukha sama. Labh alabh sama. Jaya ajaya sama. If you act like that, na evam papam avapsasi, you will not get any, you will not incur any counter result. You will not incur counter result. Siddhi, asiddhi. Same bhutva. What is the counter result? Asiddhi. Papa. What he had given in 38th verse as a glimpse, the effort there was to communicate Arjuna's thinking that by doing these karmas I will incur papam. And now the whole cycle of unfoldment has come, where he said, concluding almost here, that if you act your mind keeping that samatvam between the results that can come of any effort you put in, a result can be anything and you cannot control it. At your action level, you do what you have to. Thereafterwards, it's out of your purview. It's no longer, it's like, a file gets handed down to the next one. If you sign it and it gets handed to another one, and then now the file's gone. My better example is money. I find it fascinating. It's always my pratipaksha. Somebody held that note before and said, my money. Then a transaction happened, that note came to me. Now whose money is it? Same note. Same. Someone else had that 500 rupees, took something, gave it to me. उसने कहा ये मेरे पैसे हैं. The minute he gave it to me, अब कौन कह रहा है? मेरे पैसे हैं. It's hilarious actually. And then I will go hand it to someone else. वो क्या कहेगा? मेरे पैसे हैं. आपका अधिकार कितनी देर तक था उस पैसे पे? That if you understand that, you will understand फल पे तुम्हारा अधिकार क्यों नहीं है. कितना अधिकार रह सकता है और कर्म पे ही कितना अधिकार है. That limit becomes tangible perception. मेरा था ही नहीं कभी भी. It is a utility value. As long as it is in my control, in my hands, I have a value over it. I can do whatever I want. But once it's out of my hand, I no longer have control over it. कर्म पे पूरा मेरा अधिकार है. Therefore, siddhi asiddhi samaha bhutva. With reference to conclusion of what is got and not got, samatvam yoga uchyate. And I said, and then I think we'll take this up tomorrow. Still need to build up a little more. There's few points still left, but this is a lot of points. I didn't think we'd stretch this far. If anybody has a question, we can take it up.
Deepti, when you do something for, when you chant or when you do something for Chit Shuddhi, right? Isn't that also having a wish, having a desire? So, I mean, should I not wish for it? Should I not wish for Chitta Shuddhi to come my way?
If you don't wish for it, will you be able to have prayojan for that action?
So how do I move the
No,
pal?
no, no.
No,
I've
I
asked a
won't.
question. First answer that. No, na? So, what is it? What has we just finished understanding? He says, make your prayojan something that will take you towards your higher. If that prayojan is associated with freeing you, non-binding it is. Keep that prayojan, because if you lose that prayojan, the mind will slip into those other smaller prayojans. So chanting for the sake of Chitta Shuddhi, which means by saying I am doing it for Chitta Shuddhi, it won't happen. It'll have to be Nishkam. It is better. It's doing it for Chitta Shuddhi is the Sankalpa setting in. That will help. That is what is making it Karam Yoga.
But if I say something like, chanting will help me in the sense, some materialistic thing saying that, it's good for my house or, it will bring good positive energies and everything, would that also be like if you're having that wish, is it like not good to have? Is it materialistic or maybe, just
There's nothing like not good. Everything is good. These are only gradations that we understand. You can use them for that also. That is called sakamata. As long as I need them, use these. No problem. But what is the outcome of them? You will have good vibrations. You will have all these sakam इच्छास पूरी हो जाएंगी, जरूर होंगी, क्यों नहीं होंगी. But what is it that it will bring also?
I mean, it can get destroyed. That's what I figured.
Exactly. It will get, not it can, it will get destroyed also. Hal to hoga hi limited. So Shastra says, if you need sakam, of course do sakam. Correct. No problem. But 99, okay, 90 out of 100, can you reduce the sakamata to some minimum? Most of our actions, we do all our actions only for desires. No? All of them don't need to be. You can convert it, and who will become a better adhikari of the knowledge? The one who sees through it, usko apne aap vairagya ho jayega sakamata se. Because remember the 46th verse. Yavanartha udapane. None of this verse is not related to the next. If you start memorizing them, chanting will help you memorize them, practice will help you memorize them. The more you memorize them, the more you realize. That is what he's saying. If I'm getting a higher goal, will my house vibration not be involved in it? Not get fulfilled in it? If I'm aiming for a higher goal, will the lesser goal not get added in it?
Yes, it will.
So why should I compromise? Why should I not compromise? Why should I bring down the goal to this level? That is why this is Buddhi Yoga. Remember I said it? The higher your understanding can rise, more you can pitch yourself up, more you will realize that the lower is anyway added. I just need to have the correct faith, Shraddha in the Shastra. And start. Once I start, I find it in experience. How can you be chanting Nishkam and your house vibration not improve? Or something like that, whatever the prayojan is. You have taken an example, so I'm just going along with the example. Is it possible? Will chanting not have anyway its effects of improving the vibration? But should I chant because it gives vibration? Can I not increase the because factor? Do I have the adhikar to increase the because factor?
Yeah, I do.
Excellent. I think you've understood everyone's understanding. Because I have an adhikar to do the because factor better, therefore, why should I not do the better one? Anyway, and that alone can give you karma yoga. If I'm going to do it for these limited ends, they will give you the limited ends. No doubt about it. Karam hai na, karam to apna phal dega. Now this whole nuance is to figure out. It's a nuance. Karma yoga is a great nuance in life. It's unfoldment of very beautiful perception. How have our rishis and how has the Shastra opened so much of human psychology and human purusharth is amazing. And whoever will delve into it, Shastra gives you it as a valid praman. Is that clear so far?
Yes, Deepti, it's a wonderful class today.
Oh, great. See? Ishwar Anugraha. Here I was planning to cancel it. And Ishwar said, "Nahi." So, the best prasad, I think, one of the best prasads. So clear, because Karam Yoga is literally a nuance. It's a fine line of understanding. And then comes the alignment of oneself with that line. वो होती है correct, वो सारा साधना में फिर निकल. That is called a साधक. अंतर्मुखी होके वो कर रहा है अपना. बाहर one with everybody. But अंतर्मुख होके वो अपनी corrections करता है. Because by default, all of us are jivas. By default, all of us have the same. I can't even. That sameness is so same. कभी लगता है कि how do we even think we are individuals? It's surprising. Everything is same. We're copycats, all of us. By default. Yes, so I'll end the class here and cross my fingers that we have the class tomorrow. I'll just end it. Om Sarvesham Swastir Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhave. Om Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhyah Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Deshoyam Kshobharahitaha Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you so much, Dipti ji. Really very blessed today with this class.
Thank you, everyone. Totally blessed by Anugraha, by Ishvara. See, the principles probably, it's an experimental, it is a validity that the principles work. For all, till 5, I have typed the message and I have left it there. Thrice I said I'm pressing it. I said, "Nahi, let's just take a short question answer session. Let's just sit and we'll take a question. We'll see." I genuinely felt this verse I couldn't have done justice. So I thought no point taking it up if I can't do justice. The better to do it when you can. This is genuinely an experience. So it's a conviction forever. If you leave things, what is not in your hand, do what is in your hand, you cannot have a counter result. That's the joy of this knowledge. And every moment you can experience it in real life. It's a real knowledge. It's not words. It's not fiction. It's not abhas. It's not imagination. Okay, so let's end the class. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Cross the
Dipti.
fingers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deepti ji.
Please
Take care,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.